I quit my stable job, moved to Southeast Asia, and completely changed my life. And most days I'm good with that decision. But then I talk to someone from back home, and suddenly I'm right back in that feeling. The feeling that I'm not doing life right according to some invisible checklist everyone else seems to be following. Today, I want to talk about that shame. And more importantly, I want to give you the tools that I have been using to deal with it. And let's be honest about the main thing: society. Society seems to have a point system. Stable job, points. House, points. Marriage, kids, cars, points. Quitting your job to figure your life out, negative points. Moving across the world, especially if it's not Europe or the United States, definitely losing points. You can feel completely aligned with your decision, you can know in your bones that it was the right move, and still feel like you're failing some test that you never agreed to take. I left my job, I left my country, I left the whole framework of what my life was supposed to look like. And you know what the hardest part is? It's not the actual challenges of building a new life. It's the constant low-grade shame that comes from everyone around you having their lives figured out, at least from the outside, at least according to the script, because your friends are buying apartments and you're in Vietnam without a 5-year plan, trying to explain to your family that yes, you're okay, no, you don't know when you're coming back, and no, you don't have a real job lined up. The shame isn't about your actual life. The shame is about not fitting the template. So I did a lot of research and I came across these tools that really helped me not to feel overwhelmed by this emotion every time I feel it rising and trying to take over me. The first tool to me, and I've talked about it in another video, is to get clear on your definition of success. Because when you make a brave decision for yourself and then you judge that decision using someone else's measuring stick, of course you'll feel bad. I remind myself daily of what I did to get here, of everything that led me to this point. And yes, I had a stable job, but my life was a constant rush. I didn't have time to breathe, and toward the end, I had to remind myself to take self-care breaks just to make it through the day. I write this down on paper daily to remind myself to follow my intuition and decide for myself, not based on what others will or won't judge me for. So my advice for you is to grab your phone or a piece of paper, write down what does success actually mean to you. Not to your parents, not to your friends, not to society, to you. Because if your version of success is building a life that feels authentic to who you are, then quitting that stable job that don't fulfill you and embrace that adventure of discovering what you want is really succeeding at your own goal. Every time that shame creeps in, and it will, ask yourself, whose voice is this? Is this mine, or is this the rule book? Because most of the time it's not even real people judging you. It's an imaginary jury that doesn't actually exist. If you're enjoying this video, please consider subscribing my channel. Give it a thumbs up and share it with friends or family. Now, let's get back to the video. The second tool is redefining the word stable. Everyone acts like stability is the ultimate goal. The stable job, the stable life, the stable path. But what does stable actually mean? Because I had a stable job, I was stable and miserable. I was stable and my soul was dying. I was stable in a life that wasn't mine. That's not stability. That's just staying still while everything inside you is screaming to move. To me, real stability now is the kind that actually matters. Isn't about external circumstances. It's about internal trust. It's trusting myself enough to know when something isn't working. Trusting myself enough to make changes even when they are scary. Trusting myself enough to build something new instead of clinging to something broken just because it looks good on paper. When that shame hits you, when you're comparing yourself to people with their stable lives, I want you to ask, stable for who? And at what cost? Yes, they have the house and the career track and the predictable life. Good for them. genuinely. Be happy for them and be happy for you because you had the courage to admit that something wasn't working and you did something about it. You left the comfort zone, you chose uncertainty over slow death, you bet on yourself. And that's a different kind of stability, the kind that comes from knowing that you can handle whatever comes because you've already done the hardest thing. You chose yourself. The third tool is you need to find your people, find your tribe. If everyone around you is following the conventional path, you're always going to feel like an outsider. You need to find your people, the ones who also said no to the traditional route, the ones who get it. I'm not saying abandon your old friends. I'm saying that you need to build a reference group that isn't just people clinging corporate ladders and buying real estate. Here in Da Nang, for example, I see a lot of people doing the same thing that I'm doing. Remote workers, digital nomads, people rebuilding their lives, people who quit the stable thing to find something real. Because when you're only comparing yourself to people on the conventional path, you will always feel behind. But when you talk to someone else who left their job and country to figure their life out, suddenly you're not the weird one. You're not the one who couldn't handle normal life. You're just someone making different choices. And you will find people around you who understand that there's more than one way to build a life. The shame appears when you're isolated, when you think that you're the only one, but you're not. You know that question that makes your stomach drop? So, what do you do now? You need to practice your answer out loud until it feels natural to say it without needing to apologize. Oh, I'm freelancing and traveling in Southeast Asia. I'm working on some personal projects and learning new skills. If people give you that look, you don't owe them an explanation. You don't need to justify your choices to make them comfortable with your decisions. Not your problem. Practice saying it like it's completely normal, because it is. Millions of people are living this way. The more comfortable you get saying it out loud without shame, the less power that question has over you. I want you to think about it. When a friend of yours tells you that she's struggling with a decision that she made, you're kind to her. You tell her it's okay to not have everything figured out, but when you're the one struggling, the voice in your head sounds completely different, judgmental, sometimes even cruel. You would never talk to a friend like that. Why it is okay to talk to yourself that way? When the shame shows up, notice how you are speaking to yourself. Are you being harsh? Try talking to yourself like you are your own friend. Not fake positivity, not everything is amazing. Just be kind to yourself, basic kindness. This is hard, of course it is. I made a huge change in my life. That doesn't mean I made the wrong choice, it just means that I made a choice and I'm human. And here's the other part. Remind yourself that you're not alone in this. Thousands of people right now are feeling the exact same shame that you're feeling. They are comparing themselves to others. They are wondering if they mess things up. They are trying to explain their unconventional path to people who don't get it. You are not broken. And the last thing is, when the shame spirals, don't try to argue with it or push it away or pretend that it's not there. Just notice it. There's this feeling again. There's that voice telling me again that I'm behind. So see the feeling, the emotion. Don't become it, because the shame isn't you. It's just an emotion that shows up sometimes, like others. It comes and it goes. It doesn't define who you are, your worth, or your choices. Some days I still feel it. I see someone's buying their first apartment, and there's that split second of, should I be doing that instead? But that feeling passes, and underneath it is the solid truth that I made the right choice for me. I didn't quit my stable job because I was irresponsible. I quit because I was brave enough to admit that stability without fulfillment is just a comfortable cage. You can choose differently. That doesn't make you less than, that makes you someone who actually listens to themselves instead of following a script that someone else wrote. Every single time that you choose yourself over the scorecard, you're winning, even when it doesn't feel like it, especially when it doesn't feel like it. You're doing just fine. Thank you for listening. I'll see you soon. And here's the thing about shame. Shame. I had to make a little... The second tool is about redefining the world. Redefining the world. Beep, 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 beep. So, what you do now? Shame. Shame. You don't know when you're coming back and if you're coming back, until it feels natural, neutral. You will always go. You're always going to feel behind.